Many years ago when I was a kid, you could buy a lot of strange attachments for your television set. Television sets back then had outdoor aerials. And if you were poor and you couldn't afford an aerial like us, you got all sorts of things. I'll put some pictures here. Rabbit ears. They had loops. They had all these things. You could turn knobs and the little loop would turn around kind of like a radar. And most of them didn't work. And you could also get them for your radios. Many years ago, and this is where this is all leading. Many years ago, I was playing with crystal radio, and I wanted to see how many local stations, AM stations, I could get on the transistor radio and compare it to how many I could get on the crystal radio. Valid comparison, right? And something really weird happened when I brought the transistor radio near the crystal radio. Now you think these crystal radios, they're just very passive devices. There's no transistors, there's no batteries, there's nothing going on. But what happened was really weird. It would extinguish the signal on the AM radio, or it would boost it tremendously. And so it took me back to those days when people were selling these fake antenna boosters, whatever, for your television, for your radio, for whatever it was. And in fact, this one works. So I thought we would go over to the bench and we would demonstrate that. We'll hook an oscilloscope up to our radio so that we can see exactly how much it changes and what's going on. But this is one of those experiments that you should really try for yourself. I mean, if you've got a crystal radio and you've got a transistor radio, you'll be surprised. You can fiddle with the tuner on here, you can fiddle with the tuner on the crystal radio, and the results are astounding. I mean, they are very different than what you might expect. Anyway, enough talk. Let's go over to the bench and do something about this. Okay, let's look at our setup. Over here we have our scope, and it will be attached to our transistor radio via this plug, and we have a 10 ohm resistance load on there. And so this is what we're going to be seeing. We're going to be seeing the output from the transistor radio over here. This is our crystal radio, and it is attached to our ground and antenna back there. And that's pretty much it. So let's do a level set. If I just, I have the radio tuned to a dead spot, and if I get it near the crystal radio, you can hear it starts to affect it. And if I get it over here, then you can hear the scope. So if we hear static in the background, it's probably from the scope, and the crystal radio, well, it'll just be producing pretty much people talking, singing, whatever, all those things that I can't play, or YouTube comes after me. So one of the things is that the proximity to the coil affects the whole setup and the output from the radio, and also the position. So if I set the radio here, it is different than if I put it here. And for our demo, just so you can see what's going on, I will keep it over here. So we're tuned about the middle of the band, and our crystal radio is also tuned about the middle of the band. Let's see if we can cause it to pick up anything. In other words, to boost the, nope, not there anyway. Okay, they're getting a little bit of something. Yeah, see, we can see how it boosts it. So it took it from very little to that. So what we're doing is we're creating a matched antenna, and we're coupling it to the transistor radio through the transistor radio's antenna. So this coil is acting as a one side of a transformer, if you will, and then the antenna in here is the other side of the transformer. So we're matching an antenna, our outside antenna, to the antenna in the radio, and it is like extending a large aerial on this little radio. Now, could you use this on shortwave? Well, the answer is yeah. My guess is yes, because the theory is the same. You can see the amplification's huge. And there's without the, this is just straight from the transistor radio. So this is what it's receiving without the help of the outside antenna, because it's badly matched right now. But as we get our match good, yeah. So would this work for shortwave? Yeah, I mean, with the proper size coil and all that, you know, the proper matching should work well. Okay, so that's the middle of the band. Let's go up to the high end, and we'll see what we got. Oh, there was a blip. Okay, so we go from nothing to a little bit. Oh, okay. So there you go. That's a many times amplification. And it works on multiples too. I mean, you don't just have to, this does not have to be tuned exactly the same frequency as this. It can be a multiple. And so basically we're doing an antenna match. Okay, so we only got that one spot where it's good, right in there. Okay, so let's tune it down to the other end of the band. Oh, already got something. Okay, well that's interesting. Yeah, something's already there. Okay, so that is, we've already got on a station, so that's not much help. So as you can see, we can go from a very weak signal to a much more reasonable signal by just doing this. And of course, gotta find a weak station to begin with. There's a weak station. Let's see if we can tune it up. A little bit better. A little bit better. Okay, so you can see that you can take a weak station and boost it up there. So unlike some of these things that we used to have when I was a kid, yeah, these scams, this thing actually works. So I don't know, I mean, I have spent hours and hours messing with this. You can change this and this independently and get very different results, and how you position the radio with the coil and so on. But it's really fascinating that you can really drag in signals that are otherwise very weak. Okay, well that was it for this little demo. I've been sitting on this for years trying to figure out what to do with the information and how to present it, but I hope you found this useful and interesting in your crystal radio and maybe shortwave experimentations.